Welcome. Today, we're diving into Christianity, not as a sermon but as a philosophical investigation. We'll examine 10 core Christian claims and the philosophical critiques that challenge them. This isn't about attacking faith but about asking better questions about ethics, reality, and meaning. From ancient Greece to modern thought, we'll explore the tension between faith and reason, certainty and doubt. Whether you're a believer, skeptic, or in between, join me with an open mind. Let's get started. Many claim that without God, true morality is impossible, suggesting that only a divine authority can provide absolute certainty about what is right and wrong. Throughout history, people have looked to religion for moral guidance, believing that faith offers a solid foundation for ethical decisions. According to divine command theory, it's God's word that ultimately defines good and evil, providing clear rules and commandments for humanity to follow. But ancient philosophers like Plato raised a powerful question in the Euthyphro dilemma. Is something good simply because God commands it, or does God command it because it is already good? If good is just whatever God says, then morality could become arbitrary, meaning that in theory, God could declare even cruelty or injustice to be good. On the other hand, if God commands what is already good, then goodness must exist independently of God, and perhaps we can discover it ourselves through reason, reflection, and shared human experience. This philosophical challenge questions whether God is truly the only source of morality, or if humans can find moral truths on their own. Many philosophers argue that ethics can stand independently, rooted in empathy, rational thought, and our shared sense of justice and compassion. The debate between faith-based and reason-based morality continues, and while the foundation of absolute certainty is often questioned, the search for moral truth remains as vital as ever. Faith is often praised as a powerful force that guides people through uncertainty and hardship, offering comfort and hope when logic seems to fall short. Many see it as a higher path to truth than reason, believing it connects us to something greater than ourselves, especially in moments when answers are hard to find. Faith can fill the gaps when evidence is lacking, providing meaning and direction where facts are unclear or unavailable. But philosophers like Hume and Russell argue that beliefs should be grounded in evidence, not just wishful thinking or tradition, because only then can we avoid self-deception. Faith, by itself, can justify any belief, true or false, helpful or harmful, since it doesn't require proof or critical examination. This opens the door to manipulation and error, making us vulnerable to dangerous ideas, charismatic leaders, or even our own biases. Reason, in contrast, lets us test beliefs, correct mistakes, and seek truth by questioning, investigating, and learning from evidence. Elevating faith above reason can lead to blind obedience and conformity. Reason offers a safeguard against these risks by encouraging independent thought. Critical thinking isn't the enemy of faith. It's a tool for finding what's real, for separating helpful beliefs from harmful ones. The healthiest beliefs are those that can withstand scrutiny, adapt to new evidence, and grow stronger through honest questioning. The doctrine of original sin claims we're born broken, inherently flawed from the very start, and in desperate need of redemption that only the Church can provide. According to this belief, even the most innocent newborn carries a stain that must be cleansed, making us dependent on religious authority for salvation and meaning. Existentialists like Sartre reject this idea completely. They insist we're born free, not guilty. We arrive in the world as blank slates, unburdened by inherited sin. For them, we create our own value and purpose through the choices we make, not through obedience to dogma. Nietzsche went further, seeing original sin as a powerful tool for control. He argued that it's designed to make people feel weak, ashamed, and perpetually dependent on religious authority for forgiveness and worth. This doctrine, critics say, creates a problem, your supposed inherent depravity, and then conveniently sells you the only solution, keeping you tied to the institution. It fosters deep feelings of guilt and obedience, undermining personal autonomy and eroding self-worth, often making people doubt their own goodness. Philosophically, it's less a timeless truth about humanity and more a mechanism of institutional power, shaping how people see themselves and their place in the world. True meaning and value, these critics argue, come from self-creation, from the freedom to define ourselves, not from inherited guilt or imposed redemption. The question remains, are we truly born broken, or are we free to define ourselves and our worth on our own terms? Many Christians explain suffering as part of God's plan in a fallen world, but the problem of evil asks, if God is all-powerful and good, why so much pointless suffering? Theodicies like free will or character building often fall short. Does a child's suffering really serve a higher purpose? Accepting suffering as divine plan can breed resignation, discouraging action against injustice. It risks justifying the status quo and excusing preventable harm. Philosophers argue that this view can hinder compassion and progress. The challenge: should suffering be endured as fate or fought as injustice? The answer shapes how we respond to the world's pain. Prayer is said to change reality, not just comfort the soul, but when tested scientifically, intercessory prayer shows no measurable effect on outcomes. If prayer worked like cause and effect, we'd see consistent, testable results, but we don't. Some argue prayer's true value is personal transformation, not supernatural intervention. If its effects are indistinguishable from coincidence, is it a miracle or a meditative practice? The claim that prayer alters reality remains unproven. Its power may lie more in changing us than in changing the world. Many churches claim divine authority, even infallibility, placing themselves beyond critique. Philosopher Michel Foucault argued that power shapes what we call truth. Institutions use claims of divine authority to maintain control. Declaring dissent as heresy creates a closed system, stifling reform and silencing victims. History shows the dangers of unchecked religious power, from crusades to cover-ups. The claim to infallibility is a political move disguised as theology. It demands obedience over conscience, consolidating power in the hands of a few. Foucault urges us to ask, who benefits from this authority? True faith, perhaps, should welcome questions, not fear them. The prosperity gospel claims wealth is a sign of God's favor. Poverty, a lack of faith. Karl Marx saw religion as an opiate, but here it also blames the poor for their suffering and rewards the rich. This ideology justifies inequality, enriching church leaders while promising the poor future blessings. It distorts Christianity's core teachings. Jesus warned against wealth, not celebrated it. Faith becomes transactional, God a cosmic stockbroker. The prosperity gospel comforts the comfortable and blames the afflicted. It's a theology that serves power, not compassion. Young Earth creationism insists Genesis is literal science, rejecting modern evidence from biology to cosmology. Yet early theologians like Augustine and Aquinas saw Genesis as symbolic, not scientific. Literalism forces a false war between faith and reason, demanding believers reject science or their community. Many Christians now read Genesis as a theological story about meaning, not mechanics. This approach embraces both faith and scientific discovery. The real question: must faith and reason be enemies? Many find deeper meaning when they work together. Doubt is often condemned as a spiritual failing, but history shows progress begins with questioning. Descartes built philosophy on radical doubt. Questioning led him to certainty. Doubt isn't the opposite of faith, it's essential for growth and maturity. Suppressing doubt creates brittle, second-hand beliefs and insulates institutions from reform. Treating doubt as sin is a tool for control, demanding conformity over truth. Healthy communities encourage honest inquiry. Faith that survives scrutiny is stronger than faith protected from it. Doubt, far from being a disease, is the engine of understanding. Many churches link giving money to receiving God's blessing, turning charity into a transaction. Kant argued true virtue comes from intention, not reward. Giving for blessings isn't selfless. This model can coerce through fear and guilt, making giving a duty under threat, not a free act. True charity is voluntary and transparent, not manipulated. Churches owe ethical transparency about how donations are used. Manipulated giving enriches institutions, not communities. Virtue lies in generosity, not in buying favor. After these critiques, what remains? Philosophy challenges dogma, exposing how certainty can become control. The point isn't to destroy faith, but to distinguish personal conviction from institutional power. Many churches offer easy answers, but real growth requires courage. The courage to question, to live with uncertainty, and to think for oneself. Scrutinizing power, insisting on compassion and reason, builds a more authentic faith. A faith that can't be questioned, can't be trusted. The goal, not blind belief, but a more examined, humane spirituality. Thanks for watching.